All right, so are you ready to dive deep into this world of text-to-speech?
Oh, absolutely. I'm fascinated by how fast this technology is evolving.
Me too. And there's so much to unpack, like picking the right engine for your project.
Yeah, it's a jungle out there.
It really is. But that's why we're here to break it all down.
Yeah, help people navigate all the choices.
Exactly. Like think of it like finding the perfect spice blend for your recipe.
Ooh, I like that analogy.
Right. There are subtle spices, bold spices, and some that'll just, blow your mind.
Yeah, some might make you jump out of your seat.
Exactly. And it's the same with TTS voices. Not all of them are created equal.
Right.
So first things first, we got to talk about audio quality.
Oh, absolutely crucial.
Yeah. I mean, what's the point of a great voice if it sounds like it's coming from a tin can, right?
Totally. You want those voices to sound as human-like as possible.
Yeah. And that's where things get really interesting because some of these platforms like 11 Labs and Resemble AI
are incredible.
I know they're known for their eerily human-like voices.
It's amazing how realistic they've gotten.
Oh, I get this. Revoicer claims that 97% of people can't tell their AI voiceovers from a real human.
97%.
I know I'd have to hear it to believe it.
Right.
But that's the thing. We're in this age now where AI can genuinely mimic human voices.
Yeah, all the little nuances, the breaths, the pauses.
Yeah, that's what makes it sound so real.
Exactly. You're not just avoiding that robotic sound, you're capturing the emotion, the personality.
It's like the difference between reading a script and actually telling a story, right?
100%. You need that human touch.
Yeah. And that brings us to voice variety, which is another huge factor.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's so many options these days. Male, female, different accents, ages, you name it.
Even kids' voices.
Right. I mean, Lovio AI boasts over 500 voices.
500?
Yeah, that's what they claim.
Wow, that's a lot to choose from.
It is a bit overwhelming, right?
It is, but it's also exciting because you can really find the perfect voice for any project.
That's true.
Yeah.
Think about it. You wouldn't want a deep, booming voice for a meditation app, right?
No, you'd want something calming and soothing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And on the flip side, you wouldn't want a soft, gentle voice for like a movie trailer.
True. You'd want something powerful and attention-grabbing.
Right. So it's like casting the perfect actor for a role.
Yeah, you need the right voice to match the tone and style of your project.
Now, just to give you an idea of the variety we're talking about, Revoicer offers over 80 voices.
Okay.
Speechlo has over 30 in multiple languages.
That's impressive.
And then you have Lofio AI with their massive library of over 500.
So yeah, there's definitely a lot to explore.
There really is. And it's not just about picking a voice off the shelf either.
Right.
We got to talk about customization.
Oh, yeah, the fun part.
You know, right? Because now you can actually fine-tune these voices to your liking.
You can tweak the speed, the pitch, even add emotions.
Read emotions?
Yeah. Like happiness, sadness, even a touch of mystery.
So I could actually make a voice sound genuinely happy or scared?
Precisely. It's like having a voice actor who can instantly switch emotions on cue.
That's mind-blowing.
I know Revoicer, for example, has an emotion-based engine.
Oh, wow.
So you can add all sorts of feelings to your voiceover: friendly, cheerful, sad, angry, whispering.
Wow. The possibilities are endless.
They really are.
Okay, so we've covered emotions, but what about the nitty-gritty details like pronunciation and pacing?
For that, you'll want to explore SSML tags.
SSML tags.
Yeah, they're like special codes that you insert into your text.
Okay.
And they give the TTS engine very specific instructions on how to pronounce things.
So like if I had a brand name or a technical term that I wanted pronounced a certain way.
Exactly. You can use these tags to fine-tune those nuances.
That's pretty cool. It's like having a whole sound studio in your computer.
It is.
Okay, but now let's talk about the elephant in the room.
What's that?
Pricing.
Yes. The all-important budget.
Because let's face it, we all have budgets to consider, right?
We do, but the good news is there's a TTS solution for every budget.
Oh, that's good to hear.
Yeah, you've got everything from free trials to monthly subscriptions, yearly plans, pay-per-use.
Okay, those are all pretty standard.
Right, but then you also have one-time purchases.
Wait a minute, one-time purchases for TTS?
You heard that right.
That sounds too good to be true.
Well, Revoicer is a prime example. Their Revoicer G package is a one-time purchase for $67.
$67?
Yeah.
So you basically own the engine outright.
Exactly. It's a unique approach that might be perfect for someone who doesn't want to be tied to a subscription.
I can see that being really appealing for some people.
Definitely.
But I'm guessing there are limitations, right?
Of course, there always are. You need to look at the details, like character limits, audio duration limits, and restrictions on commercial use.
So it's about finding that sweet spot between cost and features.
Precisely.
It's not just about finding the cheapest option. It's about finding the best value for your specific needs.
Couldn't agree more.
Like if I'm working on a massive audiobook project, I might need a platform with unlimited characters.
Right. You have to consider all those factors.
And speaking of value, we can't forget about the magical world of free trials and free services.
Oh, yeah. Free trials are a lifesaver.
Right. They let you test drive the platform before you commit.
Exactly. It's like dating before you get married.
I love that analogy.
And some platforms like 11 Labs, they even offer a free tier with limited usage. So you get 10 minutes of high-quality speech per month, which is enough to play around and even create custom voices.
10 minutes of professional quality voiceover for free. That's pretty amazing.
It is a great way to dip your toes into the water.
So as you can see, there are tons of options out there, each with its own pros and cons.
Yeah, it can feel a bit overwhelming at first.
It can.
Yeah.
But remember, it's all about finding the right fit for your project and your budget.
Exactly. And we're here to help you navigate this exciting world.
We are, so stay tuned. We've got a lot more to cover.
Absolutely.
All right, so we've covered so much ground already. Audio quality, all those amazing voices, customization pricing models, free trials, one-time purchases.
It's a lot to take in, I know.
It is. It really is. I want to focus in on two platforms that I keep hearing about.
Okay.
11 Labs and Revoicer G.
Interesting choices.
What makes them stand out in this crowded market?
Well, they both bring something unique to the table.
Yeah, like 11 Labs, they're known for those cutting-edge AI voices, always pushing the boundaries.
Pushing for that ultimate realism, right?
Yeah, and they have that user-friendly free tier, which is awesome.
So people can test the waters.
Exactly. So you could say 11 Labs is, for the audiophile, the one who demands the absolute best.
You could definitely say that they're a top choice for professionals who need that top-notch quality for like commercials, documentaries, e-learning courses.
Yeah, so high-end productions.
Exactly.
Okay, so what about Revoicer G? What's their claim to fame?
Well, they really double down on emotional expressiveness.
Okay.
Remember that emotion-based engine we talked about?
Yeah.
That's Revoicer G, and they offer that one-time purchase option.
Oh, right. The $67 deal.
Exactly. So for budget-conscious creators who want to own their TTS outright, Revoicer G is very tempting.
And because they focus on emotions, they're perfect for those more creative projects, right?
Yeah, things like audiobooks, podcasts, video games, where you really need to bring those characters to life.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. It's funny you mentioned podcasts because a thought just popped into my head.
What's that?
Let's say I want to create a horror podcast. Something truly terrifying, that gets under your skin.
Ooh, spooky.
What kind of TTS features would I need for that?
Well, you definitely want a voice that can send chills down your spine.
Right, like deep gravelly tones,
Yeah.
maybe some whispering or even screaming.
Exactly. And you'd need precise control over pacing, those pauses and silences to build suspense.
Ooh, yeah. And imagine adding some creepy sound effects like a creaking door, a blood-curdling scream.
Oh, now you're talking. That would be awesome.
Yeah, that would really amp up the fear factor.
So I think Revoicer, with its emphasis on emotions, might be a good starting point.
Okay.
They have some seriously creepy voices in their library, and you can experiment with that emotion engine to create some truly disturbing effects.
This is already giving me goosebumps. Maybe I should try my hand at a horror podcast.
You should.
But let's get back to practical matters. We briefly touched on Black Friday earlier.
Oh, right.
Any chance these TTS platforms will have some killer deals?
There's a very good chance Black Friday and Cyber Monday are like prime time for software deals.
Makes sense.
So yeah, keep an eye out on those websites in late November.
Okay. Mental note, stalk those websites in November.
Definitely.
Something's been nagging at me, though. We've talked about all the amazing things TPS can do.
Right.
But are there any downsides? Any potential pitfalls we should be aware of?
That's a really good question. It's important to be realistic about the limitations.
Yeah.
One thing to remember is even the most advanced TTS can sometimes trip up on complex words or phrases.
So it's not a perfect replacement for a human voice actor, at least not yet.
Exactly. There's still a level of artistry and nuance that only a human can bring.
Okay, that makes sense. And I imagine there are ethical considerations too, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Like, could someone use TTS to create fake audio recordings that sound like a real person?
That's the big one, those deep fakes.
Right.
It's a serious concern and something the industry is actively addressing.
It's a reminder that any powerful tool can be used for good or bad.
Exactly.
So we have a responsibility to use TTS ethically.
Absolutely, for the benefit of society, not to deceive or harm.
Ethics, check.
Check.
Okay, so anything else we need to remember as we explore this brave new world?
Well, TTS is constantly evolving, so what's cutting edge today might be outdated tomorrow.
It's like any tech field, always moving forward.
Exactly. You got to stay informed about the latest developments and be open to trying new things.
So keep learning and adapting.
Exactly. The world of TTS is dynamic and exciting. The possibilities really are endless.
I love that.
But most importantly, have fun, experiment, play around with different voices, styles, emotions, push those boundaries.
It's all about embracing that creative potential. Using TTS to tell our stories, share our ideas, connect with the world in new ways.
Couldn't have said it better myself. So are you ready to dive into some specific use cases?
Oh, I'm ready. Let's do it. All right, so we've explored this whole TTS landscape, audio quality, ethical considerations. We even talked about horror podcasts.
Yeah, it's been quite a journey.
It has. But now I'm curious about real world applications. Where is TTS making a real difference?
Well, get ready because we're about to go on a whirlwind tour of use cases.
Okay, hit me with it.
Let's start with something close to my heart, content creation.
Okay.
YouTubers, podcasters, e-learning gurus, aspiring audiobook narrators. TTS can be a game changer.
I can see that because not everyone has the budget to hire a voice actor or the time to record everything themselves.
Exactly, and that's where TTS comes in. Imagine you're a YouTuber who wants to add a consistent professional-sounding voiceover to your videos.
Yeah.
Instead of spending hours recording and editing, you type in your script, choose your AI voice, boom, you've got a high-quality voiceover in minutes.
Talk about a time saver. And you can experiment with different voices without having to book studio time.
Right. It's like having a whole cast of voice actors at your fingertips.
It really is. And it's not just about convenience. TTS can also make content more engaging and accessible.
Oh, absolutely.
Like think about e-learning courses. Adding voiceovers to slides and quizzes makes them more dynamic, easier to follow.
Especially for auditory learners.
Exactly. And it makes content accessible to people with visual impairments or learning disabilities.
Right. A huge win for inclusivity.
Huge win. And speaking of accessibility, TTS is making waves in the business world too.
Oh, yeah. Companies are using it to enhance customer service, automate tasks, create internal training materials.
Oh, you know what I've noticed? That shift in automated phone systems lately?
Yeah.
Some of them actually sound human.
That's TTS at work.
Really?
Yeah. Companies
Yeah.
are using it to create those more natural-sounding, personalized responses.
So instead of getting stuck in a robotic voice menu loop, you actually hear a friendly voice guiding you through.
Exactly. It makes the whole experience less frustrating.
Way less frustrating. And I bet it's also being used for those helpful chatbots that pop up on websites.
You got it. TTS is powering a whole new generation of chatbots and virtual assistants.
So it's like having a personal assistant available 24/7.
Pretty much.
Okay. So we've got content creation, customer service, virtual assistants. What else?
Well, marketing is another big one.
Okay.
Imagine receiving personalized audio messages from brands or hearing targeted ads that actually sound interesting.
Oh, personalized audio messages. That's clever.
Evan.
I'm way more likely to listen to a message than read a long email.
And it feels more personal, too.
Oh, definitely. And what about the entertainment industry? Any cool applications there?
Oh, tons. TTS is being used to create interactive voice experiences like games and virtual tours that respond to your voice.
Wait, voice-activated games? That sounds futuristic.
It does, doesn't it? But it's becoming more and more common.
Wow, so TTS is opening up a whole new world of interactive storytelling and entertainment.
Exactly.
I'm seriously impressed.
Yep.
It seems like TTS is everywhere these days. It's like the Swiss Army knife of audio technology.
It kind of is.
But with so many options, how do you even choose the right solution?
Well, it can feel overwhelming, but remember that checklist we talked about. Start by defining your needs and priorities.
Right. What am I using TTS for? What kind of voice do I need? What's my budget?
Exactly. It's all about finding the perfect fit.
Like finding the perfect pair of shoes.
There you go. Once you have a clear idea of your needs, you can start narrowing down the options. Read reviews, listen to voice samples, take advantage of those free trials.
Free trials are essential. You wouldn't buy a car without test driving it first.
Exactly. And as you're exploring different platforms, keep those licensing terms in mind. Make sure you understand how you can use the voices, especially if you're creating commercial content.
Licensing, check any final words of wisdom for our listeners as they embark on their TTS adventures.
Embrace the experimentation. Play around with different voices, styles, emotions. Don't be afraid to push those boundaries. See what you can create.
I love that it's all about having fun, exploring the possibilities, and discovering the power of voice.
Who knows, you might even discover a hidden talent for voiceover work.
You never know. And remember, the world of TTS is always evolving, so stay curious, stay informed, keep exploring.
New platforms, new features, new voices are emerging all the time.
It's an exciting time to be in the audio world.
It really is.
Well, that brings us to the end of our deep dive into the fascinating world of text-to-speech. It's been an incredible journey.
It has.
We've covered so much ground, from the technology itself to the ethical considerations and the endless possibilities.
And now it's your turn to take what you've learned and see where TTS takes you.
Exactly. So go out there, experiment, create, and let your voice be heard.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Thanks for joining us on this adventure. And until next time, keep exploring, keep creating, and keep diving deep